Alright, welcome back to another SegWeather video, and we're back with your forecast for your Saturday, August 22nd of 2026. We're going to dive into what to expect for your day. Starting off with the watches and warnings, we do have a lot going on with the heat risers in place for much of the nation's midsection, with heat index values over 100 being expected. And then looking at that pink area here around Dallas and Fort Worth area, that's where we have extreme heat warning for values over 105 being possible, so watching that very closely. Same thing for the southwestern corner of the U.S. Could see that be the case as we head throughout your day today. And then the Pacific Northwest underneath red flag warning due to very dry conditions and also strong upper level winds, which will lead to a volatile situation to lead to the potential for maybe a fire or two to be possible. So if you are in the Pacific Northwest today, you may want to be on the lookout for that. And then looking out towards the Ohio Valley, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in place as a cold front is currently moving into this region, bringing in that potential for some strong storms. More on this in a little bit, but that does mean that some storms are possible in this region. So if you're in eastern Ohio, Pennsylvania, and even parts of West Virginia, even New York, I'll be on the watch out for these storms coming in later on this afternoon. And right now, the storms are settled over eastern parts of Michigan, into parts of Indiana and parts of Ohio, pretty much sandwiched in those storm chances right now. And then some more shower and storm chances out here towards southeastern Kansas into southern parts of Missouri and extending down into eastern parts of Oklahoma right now. That's going to push down to our south eventually as we progress throughout the afternoon and eventually into this evening. And all of this again is moving along that cold front, which is currently has swept through much of the plains into parts of the West right now. So a lot of these areas are seeing lots of sunshine today, but just outside this front, down here towards the south and east, some strong storms are possible at this time. And anywhere east of this front is where we do expect the unsettled activity to be moving into by later on tonight. Now, looking at our severe threat, we do have a slight risk in place for much of Ohio, western Pennsylvania, almost all of West Virginia, eastern parts of Kentucky, and even northwestern parts of Virginia as well. So watching that being in place for your day today for this area. And also another slight risk here in Arkansas, extending into northwestern parts of Mississippi and southwestern parts of Tennessee. So looking at some scattered severe storms possible, and then surrounding that a level 1 marginal risk for some strong storms in all these green areas, which means isolated severe storms being possible. Now, looking at our threats, likely tornado risk does not look to be a threat at all today, so looking at that being good news. Maybe a spotty chance of maybe an isolated tornado, but other than that, looking pretty good. Damaging wind risk, though, will be there, looking at winds up to 60 miles per hour, especially in the hatched risk zone in parts of Arkansas into Mississippi, even parts of Texas could see winds up to about 70 miles per hour in those zones especially. Meanwhile, in the yellow zones, could see up to 60 mile per hour winds being possible at this time. And then hail risk, it will also be there, but quite low, looking at hail maybe up to about half inch, maybe a spotty instance of hail of 1 inch being possible. Now, looking at our futurecasts going from this afternoon into tomorrow morning, you can see those line of shower and storm chances pushing off towards the east as this front continues to move off towards then, and looking at a wet setup for much of this region throughout the rest of your day today. Some more shower and storm chances extending down into parts of Mississippi by later on tonight. Even the Rockies still a bit unsettled, seeing some storm chances ongoing throughout the course of the afternoon and into the evening as well. Temperature-wise, looking at a fairly nice day for the Midwest. Temperatures in the 70s for much of this region into northeast. Temperatures in the 70s, so nicer day today, but still stormy in this part of the region, so it will still feel a little humid, but at least it'll be cooler for you guys. But out towards the plains, temperatures in the 80s, largely, with temperatures also reaching the 90s in parts of Montana, and in the south, baking hot. Temperatures in the hundreds to 110 for much of this region into the southwest, seeing that being the case as well, maybe nearing 120 around Death Valley in California. And then out in the Rockies, temperatures in the 60s to 70s with those downpours at this time. Now, looking at dew points, it will be still quite humid in parts of the East Coast, but out towards the Midwest, not as humid. Looking at dew points, relatively around that humid area, slightly humid to maybe slightly comfortable. So, looking at a refreshing change coming in by this afternoon into this evening, and more of that as we head to Sunday. And speaking of cooler temperatures, as we head towards the end of August, we're looking at this cooler pattern remaining in place until probably about then, maybe into early September. The first couple of days of September could be looking quite mild rather than hot and humid for a large part of the Midwest, Northeast. Not so much for the South, as you guys will largely see a lot of hotter temperature anomalies until the early part of September. So unfortunately, if we're looking for colder than normal temperatures, that's far off from now. But in the Midwest, Northeast, looking at lots of temperatures in the 70s, maybe a couple 60s running there, maybe even some nights also in the 40s to lower 50s. So looking quite nice, feeling much more like September in that region as we progress throughout the rest of the month, maybe even around the Pacific Northwest later on in the month as some of that cooler air may even reach that portion of the country. But if you're a fan of the cooler temperatures in the Midwest, this is your week to enjoy it. But if you're down the South again, I'm sorry, you'll have to wait until probably later on in September before we do see this change in the pattern hit you guys as well. But that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like. If you enjoyed this content, and if you want to see more of this content, don't forget to also subscribe to always get updated on whenever I post a video on the channel. Have a great day and stay weather aware.